Question number 8. Grant Robertson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he stand by his statement that one aspect of macro-prudential tools is that they can have unintended consequences? If so, what does he think would be the likely unintended consequences of debt-to-income ratio restrictions for mortgage lending?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I do stand by my statement. And I wouldn't speculate on the unintended consequences of restrictions which aren't in place and which the Reserve Bank is beginning to investigate.
Supplementary questions.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Would a blanket debt-to-income ratio that limited a first home buyer to borrowing $400,000 as per the UK model, pricing them out of the Auckland housing market, be one of the unintended consequences he's referring to?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I wouldn't want to speculate on that simply because the Reserve Bank, as I understand it, is beginning work and no doubt its consideration will include looking at the application of the tool to other countries.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Would he agree to a debt-to-income ratio only applying to investors and not first home buyers?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's hypothetical. The Reserve Bank has yet to investigate whether the tool is workable. Then it's got to decide that it wants to include it in the Memorandum of Understanding about macro-prudential tools, and then it's got to go out and consult everybody and work out how to apply it.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Are there any limits to a debt-to-income ratio that he will rule out now?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr. Speaker, no, because it's not my role in law to do that. In law, the role is for the respective roles are that if the Reserve Bank wants to introduce another macro-prudential tool, then it negotiates with the government to include it in the Memorandum of Understanding. But the design and application of the tool is, as it should be, the task of the independent statutory regulator, and much as the member might think it's appropriate, I don't think the New Zealand Minister of Finance should break the law.
Supplementary question, Mr. Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant.
Why is he prepared to see first home buyers priced out of the market, but he's still unprepared to crack down on speculators, including offshore ones, by continuing to allow them to purchase existing homes?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr. Speaker, in the last 12 months, 12,000 first-home buyers have benefited from the Home Start program, and there's sufficient funding allocated for 90,000 first-home buyers to benefit from that policy. It's succeeding and it's helping many first-home buyers into their first home.
Order. Question number 9 to